Well, pretty excited today. I've had a box of goodies turn up from Black Magic. I did a big order with Black Magic to refurbish the boat. I wanted to get rid of a lot of stuff that it's just corroded away in the boat now, like old pliers and bits and pieces. And so I did a big order with Black Magic and it's all turned up. So what I'm going to do today is go through this box of stuff I've got from Black Magic. I'll go through why I use it anyway and why I like to use the Black Magic products. I was just thinking the other day that, you know, I've been using Black Magic products for such a long time, and where it all started was Black Magic started, I think, in 1991. In around 1992, I was probably around 15 years old. Not sure actually, but yeah, a young lad. Anyway, Black Magic were only ever doing mail order back then from the New Zealand Fishing News. So you'd fill in the paperwork, tick the boxes of what you want, send your check or your credit card, mail it up, and then Black Magic would mail that to you and you'd get it back Saturday morning deliveries. So I was watching Jeff Thomas and Adam Clancy with Kingfish Secrets and Snapper Secrets. You know, back then they were great episodes, you know. And Black Magic back then was selling poppers and stick baits and the KS hooks. Now I was ordering the KS hooks, the poppers, and also all their swivels and that. So they turn up Saturday. I'd get Dad in our Crestercraft to take us out in the bay. And I remember the first pink popper I got from Black Magic. We went out to out of Tasman Bay. There's 3 yachting muscle floats with the yachties use for their races on Wednesday night. Anyway, we went out there one morning. I got my old trusty rod. I don't know what it was, but I had this pink popper that I got from Black Magic. First cast, I cast it out to the buoy, pulled it in, and a kingy hit it about 2 meters from the boat. I mean, it's hard to say what size kingy it was. I'd probably say maybe 15 to 20 kilo, maybe around then, back then. Well, it ran and busted off my mono. I was using mono. It was 40-pound mono. I remember buying it from the warehouse, and it was, dare I say it, a Bill Hohepper branded mono, but the kingy was just too big in the knot. So it busted off and I lost my first ever popper. But that's just what I wanted to talk about, that, you know, I've forgotten that Black Magic, I've been using Black Magic products for such a long time. And over the years they've evolved. They've brought out the KLT hooks now. And so I'm pretty happy to get a big order of Black Magic in and refurbish the boat and redo my tackle bag and get rid of the 4,000 live bait rigs I've got in the tackle bag. So I'm going to go through all the gear I've got in here and maybe explain a bit to you and why I use it and why I've chosen to buy it, and might help you guys decide on some gear or have a look at some different gear anyway. Rightio, so let's crack into this box. Fair bit of gear here. First of all, the new Black Magic shock leader in pink. If you don't know why it's in pink, pink or red is one of the first colours in the spectrum to fade. So you've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, then violet. Using pink, it'll fade in the spectrum quicker, so basically be invisible. So this is another option as a leader if you don't want to use fluorocarbon. It's tough, it is easy to tie, more flexible, and not as expensive as fluorocarbon. So this is definitely going to be a very good leader to use. So I've got that in 20 pound, 40 pound, and 60 pound. New product on the market from Black Magic, so cheaper than fluorocarbon. Next we've got, I've got the new KLT hooks from Black Magic. So these are Teflon coated and also non-offset. So when you've got recurve hooks and some of them are offset and non-offset, you can still gut hook a fish with an offset. So that's like a lot of competitions like sword fishing stuff, IGFA, that's the International Game Fishing Association. They do not allow offset hooks. So that less chance of gut hooking a fish, even with a recurve, and you can release the fish. So I've got KLT hooks, which I love these things, so you can release more of your fish. And to be fair, we would release just about every fish if we could, but unfortunately due to a lot of the depth we fish, we can't always release the fish. So we've also got the new flip it jigs. These things are pretty awesome. I haven't used these with snapper yet, but I've used a lot of them. Well, I've used them with kingfish, and they've been really effective on the kingies. Okay, next thing we've got braid cutters. So I've got a few sets of these. I'll leave one in my tackle bag, one in the garage where I tie the gear, and I'll have one in the bait board, in the drawer in the bait board. Now, one tip I will give you with braid cutters: do not cut mono with them. What it does is it spreads out the cutters, and then you won't be able to cut braid. So make sure when you're using braid cutters, use them purely for braid. Get some mono shears or something separate. So they're always handy. Okay, next thing I've got is the KL Strayline rigs. So that's a 6-bar row on the bottom and a 5-bar row. I've caught some really good snapper on these, and to have them in your kit too, for the price of them, 3 of them ready to go. They've got the little Lumo bead, and all I do there is I'll run a 1 ounce or 1/2 ounce sinker on the trace above that, and then I'll tie a Black Magic swivel. So I'll have the sinker between the trace and the swivel, and then tied directly to the braid. So they are a must easy have for your kit. Okay, and then you've got other Strayline rigs here. These are with the C point, the Black Magic C point hooks, and I've got a 6-bar row, 7-bar row, and also a 5 to 6-bar row. So easy pull off little cards for tying your rigs, and you're ready to go. So you can make your own rigs up yourself, but half the time it's so much easier to buy them. They're already pre-done, pre-packaged, simple. Okay, next you've got the Black Magic sabikis. Now I found these to be the best sabikis on the market because there's only 4 hooks. If you've got anything more than 4 hooks, it becomes a complete debacle. As if you've used them, you've probably come across that as well. And also, they have the sinker already on there. So you don't have to worry about getting a little sinker and attaching it. It already comes pre with the sinker on it. So there's a few different sizes in these, and they're awesome to have in your kit for getting live baits. Especially when your tackle bag's full of 1,000 live bait rigs, but you don't actually live bait. But great for catching your fresh pooker bait as well. And they come in a couple of different colours. So that one was shrimp, and then you've just got chartreuse flashes as well. So there's sabikis, definitely part of your kit. Then my old favourite, so these were new last year from Black Magic. It's the KL Lumo flashes. I've caught some serious fish on these flashes. I was actually, to be fair, I was tying and making my own flasher rigs a year or 2 ago, but just because it was, you know, something like we all like to do is tie your own rigs or make your own flashes. So we started doing that, and then me and Craig were out in a fishing competition, and we hadn't caught any snapper. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and we got the old trusty Snapper Snatcher Original 8-bar row, and 2 o'clock in the afternoon, chucked a couple of pillies on it, half pillies on it, threw it overboard, bang, straight away, and a 16-pound snapper hit it, and I think we got 3rd place in the Snapper Cup in Nelson with it. So after that we were like, why do we waste our time? The Black Magic's got so much UV light in them, and they're so well tied. Japanese hooks, Japanese line, they're tied in New Zealand. You know, so you can't go wrong, and you know, from the footage I'll show you here, we've caught lots of really big snapper on them, and they work a treat. And there's heaps of sizes, heaps of colours. So I got some more snapper snatchers. I mean, I'll use heaps of these over the summer period. My favourites are the 8-bar rows though. You know it's a big hook, but it's got a lot more flash, heaps of hook exposed, half a pilly on them, and the snapper just love them. They're like little candy, shiny candy things for them. But on those 8-bar rows, we've caught a lot of big snapper, and I generally really only use 8-bar rows now. John Dory rigs also, they're pre-made. and set up from Black Magic. I haven't done a lot of John Dory fishing, to be fair, but I ordered some because I actually want to target a few more. Surprisingly, in the middle of Tasman Bay, there is a lot of John Dory. We know the commercial guys get them in the middle of nowhere, so there is a lot out there. So this year we'll try and do a lot more John Dory live baiting. Got some more 8-bar OKLs. I order and use heaps of these, so got some live bait balloons. So the Black Magic ones have got these little plastic lugs, if you can see them, and what you do is, you can blow up the balloon and wrap it around it, so you don't actually have to tie a knot in the balloon. So afterwards you can pull the balloon off and use it again. So they're a real handy thing. My first ever kingfish was on a Black Magic live bait rig, and the funny thing was I still remember it, I was using elephant fish head, and a kingy hit it on a hand line at the back of the boat, and I got my first kingy down in Duncan Bay with Dad. So that was pretty good. Dad had to pull it in, but yeah, I was pretty happy with that, and that was on a Black Magic live bait rig without a live bait. I think that's probably where it all started, me like live baiting but never actually live baiting. Some more flasher rigs. Oh, I've got the old groper grabber. These things are awesome as well. So what we do with these, I'll crimp at the bottom, because it's not crimped at the bottom. I'll crimp on the bottom a little loop, and then I'll tie on Black Magic 80 pound, 2 meters of 80 pound, do a big loop, and then I can just change the sinkers on and off as a breakaway. And then at the top I'll use a Black Magic 37 kilo snap swivel straight to my braid, and then I'll snap on a little light, like the little green lights, and put the rig on, and then one hook down with a bit of barracuda straight through, single hook, long baits, big baits or groper, and these are done. We've caught some seriously nice groper on these things.
You got two mothers. Holy moly! Big hooker. Yeah! 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 What about it? Awesome, good dude. Fish. Woo. Me. Yep, good. That's a little bit bigger than mine, huh?
And they're easy as well. Good UV flash in them. Yeah, the trusty old live bait rigs. So that 9-bar is what I got my first ever kingy on. And there's a 7-bar as well. So I'm getting pretty loaded for summer anyway. Okay, next I've got a heap of fish rags. Black Magic fish rags. It's still pretty debatable on the, they always say to use a wet rag and it doesn't wipe the slime off, but now they're saying use your hands, because it doesn't wipe the slime off. But general use, drying your hands, washing hands on board the boat, and drying them off. Good to have rags around. And so I've got a heap of them, because usually you go, to be fair, when you're going out fishing, you generally use 7 to 8 rags just drying your hands anyway, between baiting and all that sort of carry on. Okay, the next thing, and an essential piece of kit if you ask me, is the Black Magic UV lights. Okay, now these things are $20, and you can charge up anything with them. So if you're charging your groper rigs, your lures, anything, Charging with a UV light though will charge quicker and they'll hold that glow longer. And also I use them to just shine over gear to see what has good UV content. Like I've said in the past, having that UV light is what fish see. Fish see UV. So having a UV torch and shining over things, you can actually work out what's going to be very effective for snapper fishing or fishing. So UV lights, definitely a must. And Black Magic do them for around that $20 price point. And also some more groper grabbers. And also hooker pookers. There's some more groper rigs, which are easy and very effective. What else have I got in here? Some more snapper snatchers. You've got the original and the standard snapper snatcher. The original is what I've caught my biggest snapper on, one of those, and it was 24.98 pounds, 24.98, and that was a monster snapper. Next thing is the Black Magic tackle trays. So I've got a heap of them. So they'll fit in the Black Magic tackle bag, and you can fit up to 5 trays in there. Okay, the Black Magic deep tray. So these are pretty good that you can actually stick your stick baits in, stick it in your tackle bag as well. So you can have 3 of the standard trays and 1 big one. So if you've got gear, I mean even on the picture, you can hold all your flashes in them ready to go, all your sabikis, all that sort of carry on. So the deep dish ones are also another good bit of kit. It's pretty exciting going through all this gear. Some more snapper snatchers, also a set of the Black Magic fishing pliers. They're nice and sharp for cutting braid and using for your split ring pliers, and just a general all-round fishing tool. Nice and light and easy to have in the drawer on the back of the boat. Another deep dish tackle tray. So these things are great for all your sabikis and all that. You can pack them straight in them and you're ready to go. And the Black Magic bait knives. These by far are the best, longest lasting bait knives around, in my point of view. They don't rust, you can just continuously sharpen them. Great, nice, small, rubber grip, easy for chumming and cubing and all that sort of carry on. Come in a little sheath and they'll sit in the side of your tackle bag, and they retail at maybe $9, maybe around there. So they're an essential bit of kit. So I ordered quite a few of them. So we do a lot of chumming and cubing out on the boat and filleting and all that. So just having them all sharp, and one gets blunt, you can use another one. So having heaps of knives is a good essential bit of kit. Next thing, the digital Black Magic digital scales. Definitely worthwhile having scales on board. We weigh all the fish generally on 2 scales and also measure them. You actually want to know the factual size of it. So that's a handy bit of kit. A couple more tackle trays, just your standard tackle trays. Also, that camera stopped recording. I don't know how long that was recording for. The Black Magic lure wrap. So these hold all your lures in. They roll up. They're also meshed at the back, so you can put your lures back in after a day and hose them all down. So they're for the marlin lures and also your tuna lures and all that sort of carry on. Now my favourite lure is that Pilchard Jet Set from Black Magic. That thing destroyed the tuna in Tasman Bay this year. And in 7 lures, we were running 2 of them in the 7 lures and they always got hit. They are by far the best lure that we use this year. So I'll be ordering a heap of them before our tuna season starts up. And also, to be fair, we'll be probably trying for marlin this year in the bay. With the water temperature heating up, we're going to head a bit further out. And I mean, there's no harm trying. I don't think we're probably dreaming, but we'll give it a try anyway and see how we get on. So the Black Magic lure wrap, sweet piece of kit, and you can hang it up and dry it in the shed too. Now the next thing, the most underrated thing and the most essential awesome bit of kit is the Black Magic leader feeder, or the leader management system. Now these things, I guess a lot of people probably don't know about them, but they are absolutely brilliant. So how they work is on the top here, you can see there, they've got a little clear slot where what you do is you get your mono, you chop off with the scissors this top half here of it, and then you put them into the leader feeder, and then you come out the top here and you go through down there and out, and then you've got it labelled there. You tag a little label or chop off a little label, feed it in there and put 20 pound, 30 pound, 40 pound, 50 pound, 60 pound, and that'll hold 5 spools of mono. So your fluorocarbon, non-fluoro, the new pink stuff, anything like that. So you can label it and have it sitting there. And it also attaches to the side of your tackle bag. So you can feed it onto the side of the tackle bag and it'll sit there on either of the small or large Black Magic tackle bag. So they are an awesome piece of kit that keeps all your leader in one place. So I've got a couple of them, and yeah, a couple of leader feeders. So I'll have to set them up and put all the leaders into them. So that's the box of goodies. I did also get some gaffs. Right, so I've got both gaffs from Black Magic. This is a smaller one. It's actually, I think, a snapper gaff, but the smaller one we use for like puka, because you've actually got more leverage on it with a smaller gaff. And then you've got the bigger bit size man gaff that you can use for kingies or anything along those lines. These things are super sharp, and also you can see from the angle here that some of them come out on an angle like so, but when you gaff something and bring it down, that angle won't actually gaff it. With these, you can hit the top of the fish and come down and you've hooked it. So I've got 2 gaffs there in 2 sizes, just a smaller one for the puka and a bigger one for kings or anything along those lines. And also, like the background there, I've got the Black Magic snapper net. So yeah, that's a lot of the kit I'm using. Hopefully, if you guys might have got some tips or something out of there. So if you're watching this right to the end, once again, thanks heaps for supporting me and watching the videos I do. I've loved doing them and trying to help you guys maybe catch some fish or have a laugh or something along those lines.